So we do now in the Torah, in Rosh Hashanah, we do the third Mamer, Lahavin HaMishnah Reish Perik Daled the Rosh Hashanah. So this explains, this is a very famous Mamer, Mamer Samach Vav, and a lot of Berev's Mamorim explains this this Mishnah. So what the Mishnah says in the Reish Perik Daled the Rosh Hashanah, it says like this, that Yom Tov Shel Rosh Hashanah Shechal Li is B'Shabbos, that when the Yom Tov of Rosh Hashanah comes out on the Shabbos, so B'Migdosh Hoyu Toikim. So in the Beis HaMikdash, they would blow the shofar. Avoloi B'Medina, but in the country, outside of the Beis HaMikdash, everywhere else, in Yerushalayim, the rest of Eretz Yisrael, they did not blow the shofar if Rosh Hashanah is on Shabbos. The Farish Gemara, so the Gemara explains what's the reason why they did not blow the shofar on Rosh Hashanah Shabbos. Mishum Gzeira de Rabba, because of the decree and the worry that Rabbi had. What was Rabbi Gezer? He says, Shemo Yelechenu Daled Ames B'Reshus HaRabim, that a person may carry the shofar 4 Ames in the Reshus HaRabim. Toisus, they explain why are we only talking about 4 Ames in Reshus HaRabim, not taking it out from Reshus HaRabim. Whatever, that's already the Gemara there. But over here, he says the issue that we have, that you might carry a shofar, you're going to bring it to the expert to teach you how to blow the shofar, and you might carry it, and therefore you're going to be violating, on Shabbos, you're going to be violating a prohibition of the Torah, not to carry 4 Ames on Shabbos. Halacha l'Moshe B'Sinai, you're not allowed to carry on Shabbos. So the Chum said, you know what, don't blow the shofar on Shabbos, so you won't come to carry it. Okay. But the Yom Tov Rishon Shel Chag, on the first day of Sukkot, however, over there, the lulav, they took it even in the Medina, as long as the Beis Hamikdash was in existence, they took it even the outside of Yerushalayim. As Tosus brings down over there, Prusha the Gemara, that during the time of the Beis Hamikdash, they would have the mitzvah of lulav even on Shabbos. Nowadays, we of course don't have. When Shabbos, Sukkot is on Shabbos, we don't have the mitzvah of lulav. So why did we do the lulav? Why? Why? Because the first day shaking the lulav on Sukkot is from the Torah. Mela, the other days, it's only by the Yom Tov Rishon Shel Chag. In other words, of Sukkot. If any of the other days of Sukkot comes out on Shabbos, then we would not take the lulav. Because taking the lulav on the other days of the Yom Tov of Sukkot is only midrabanan. The Torah only requires you to take the lulav the first day. It's only on the first day. Since it's only on the first day, Minat Torah, so Minat Torah, even the Medina, when Sukkot comes out on Shabbos, we would still take the lulav. Because Yom Tov Rishon is the Raisa, that's why we would take it. So, but the question is, why is that different than the shofar on Rosh Hashanah? Shofar on Rosh Hashanah is also min HaTorah, and why don't we take it? Because of Gzeir Rabbi, Ukvar Hikshu HaToisus, Reish Perik Dal de Rosh Hashanah, Reish Perik Dal de Sukkot. So the Toisus, in the beginning of the 4th chapter of Rosh Hashanah and the beginning of the 4th chapter of Sukkah, actually question over there. The Maishno, Shofar Melulav, Einsha. Why is shofar different than lulav? Okay. But the bottom line is that this is the halacha that at Rosh Hashanah, we are not blowing the shofar when it comes out on Shabbos. And yes, because we have a Gezerah de Rabba. But the Rebbe questioned that, how could you take away? Why did the Chachamim see fit to take away a Torah, an important Torah mitzvah like the blowing of the shofar, especially when you consider the fact that the shofar has special kavanas and does the inner meaning of the things. The shofar has binyan amalchus with a lot of different things that it accomplishes. How could it take away such a mitzvah because of a worry, seemingly, that is not going to happen? The religious people are not going to forget, they're not going to carry. Some people that are not so careful. So why would they take away this mitzvah, shofar, from all the Yidden, in all the places? No shofar on Rosh Hashanah Shechal B'Shabbos. So further we can point out and to bring to your attention, Ma ro chazal mitzvahs esed the shofar v'lulav. Why did they see fit to uproot the mitzvahs esed of shofar and also lulav? Afilu b'yom rishon b'gvulin. Even, why did they take away the? We have the question, why did they take away even on the first day? If they took away lulav on the other days, we understand. But why did they take away shofar and lulav even the first day? Even on the first day meaning by the lulav when it's minat Torah. Why did they take away the mitzvah say of shofar and lulav even on the first day b'gvulin for the lulav? I mean, shofar there's only one day minat Torah we're talking about, but we're talking about akoponim afilu bizman shebeis hamikdash. We're questioning now. Okay, when there was a Beis Hamikdash, you say by the lulav they didn't take it away, but after the Beis Hamikdash, even by the lulav they took away the mitzvah. Like by us, we have a Beis Hamikdash. Sukkot that comes out on Shabbos, we don't take the lulav at all, because this that we said that was only during the time of the Beis Hamikdash. Lulav was done on the first day, but he's asking, but nowadays there is still a mitzvah in Torah. So how come? Because he took it away because of just a decree of Rabbah. The decree of Rabbah doesn't seem to be such a big zach to take away a Torah mitzvah. Again, by the shofar, we took it away everywhere. And besides the Beis Hamikdash, whether it's Manche Beis Hamikdash Kaim or Ein Beis Hamikdash Kaim. By the lulav, the first day, they would take it, but after Ein Beis Hamikdash, they don't take it. How could they take away a mitzvah esa of the Torah called Gezerah de Rabba? Isn't then this worry for ordinary and light-headed people, well, not religious, very religious people? How did the Chachamim prevent this mitzvah totally from the tzaddikim, great tzaddikim or good ones, and great people? How did they take it away? Mele, if the Chachamim would say only the tzaddikim should blow, or the people, but here they took it away across the board from everybody. Why? Because Hadiyati Mekal Hadas may violate the Shabbos. Why did they do this? Especially when we're talking about the mitzvah of shofar, the mitzvah of lulav. There's many intentions that hang on them. There's the intentions of the shofar and the lulav. Those who know knowledge, those who know Kabbalah, they touch the lulav and the shofar, they touch to the highest levels. It's a very important mitzvah. So why would they take it away? In order to understand it, we have to first introduce what is the idea of shofar, the shoyrish inyan hashofar. The Alter Rebbe will basically say that when Shabbos comes around, the idea is that the shofar has to get accomplished just by the Shabbos. So that's why we have to first understand what is it that the shofar brings, what is the root of it, and then we'll understand how come the shofar on Shabbos is not so necessary, which means we have a Gzeira D'Rabba, and that's why we will sort of push it off. It's interesting, we just read in the letters of the Rebbe, in the Chelik Tes, in Toshin Yudalad, the previous Rebbe in the same Mamer writes over there, sort of, what he says, that on shofar that comes on Shabbos, on Hashanah that comes on Shabbos, there's no mitzvah of shofar. And the rabbis asked the Rebbe, what does it mean there's no mitzvah of shofar? It's Fedish in the Gemara, it didn't, Rashi has it. And the Rebbe says that he's basing it on the Mamer of the Alter Rebbe that we're learning now. What he means is that it is not such a necessary mitzvah on Hashanah Shechal B'Shabbos. Not that we don't, of course there's a mitzvah, but because of the Kavanah, as the Rebbe explains over there. So let's go here. So what's the Sherish and Shefer? Api Shivur Gamkin Inyan B'chinas Malchis B'Rosh Hashanah. By explaining what is the idea of the Malchis, making Hashem for a king on Rosh Hashanah. Shu Inyan B'chinas Binyan HaNukva K'Yidur. That's building the Nukva, that's building Malchis. Hinei Neida HaEfresh Ben Yehuda Ilo LeYehuda Tator. There is a difference between the unity of Hashem in the higher level, the supreme level. That would be the bittul b'metzias, which is in Atzilus. Over there is Yehuda Ilah. And the bittul hayesh, which is in Bri Yitzirasi, which is in Biyah Yehuda Tator. What is this difference between Yehuda Ilah, Yehuda Tator, the way it's in Atzilus, the way it's in Biyah? There are two types of Hishtalshelus. Basically, the Hishtalshelus from higher of Atzilus to Atzilus is in a way of Gilui HaHelam, and the Isgalus from Atzilus to Biyah is in a way of Yesh Me'ayin. Gilui HaHelam, because it's only Gilui HaHelam, therefore there is Yehuda Ilah over there. There is still a sense they're totally bottled. They're not an entity. That's the higher level of bittul. They don't exist as a independent mitzias. They are fully encompassed by the source, by the Ein Sof. But then when it comes the Hamshocha from Atzilus to Bria, over there is like Yesh Me'ayin, is like a new entity, and they're not bottled totally. It's only a level of Bitla Yesh. Let's look inside. Ha'alef is Hanikra Beloshin Hapardus B'chinas Ilo V'olu. Ilo means a chain, a ring, and the Olu is the result, is the outcome, sort of. So you have the cause and effect, the ila va'olu. And basically, shekol olu mukaf mi'ilosoi. Every effect is surrounded by its cause. Basically, it's first included in its source, and the higher level, the olu, the ilah, surrounds the olu. Kol olu mukumilos. Who inyan ha'igulim shebe'etz chaim. This is the idea of the igulim, of the circles, which the Eitz Chaim talks. So ha'igul ha'elyin malkif l'chol tzad lo igul shebetoicher. The higher level of the eagle surrounds the lower level on all sides that's inside. So maybe we can look at it as one ring, a smaller ring in a larger ring. So the outer ring fully encompasses the inner ring. Igul shebetoiche. Dahainu igul shebetoiche hu nichlal ubatel elav. That means that the circle which is in there is included and subjugated to the outer circle. Hu al derech moshel. Be by way of example, harav shetoisfes umasig is called hasogas hatalmid hamikabel mimeno. We call tzadupina. Say that the teacher, he grasps and understands everything that the receiving Talmud grasps from all sides and all corners. In other words, he knows it. He has the full gamut of all of what the student understands. Because of the smallness of the seichel and the grasping of the Talmud in the eyes of the teacher. So nitfas umukav b'seichel harav hamashpia v'nichlaba. So therefore, it is caught up, it is surrounded in the intellect of the teacher who's mashpia, and it's included in the teacher. Why? Ki b'chlal mosayimana. Because included, if you have 200, you have 100 in there. 100 includes 200. So the seichel of the Talmud, which is the 100, the smaller, is included in the bigger seichel of the Rav, which is 200. And so it turns out, Shasogas HaTalmid Eina Bebechinas Yesh B'Dover Nifrod La'atzmo. That the understanding of the Talmud is not an entity, it's not something separate by itself, but rather it's included and it's secondary in the understanding of the teacher. That's going to be like Atzilus. In other words, Atzilus is included in the Ein Sof, in the eagle, which is surrounding it. So it is not really an entity, and that's why it's Bittul B'Metzias. The other way, that's the one way. That's the one Ishtalshut. Abeis, and the other one is Sha'olul Yoitzeli Degilu B'Fnei that the effect goes out, becomes independently revealed. Shezeu Einoi Kimoi Hiskallu Sha'olul B'Toicha Ilo. That's not like we were saying that the Olul is included inside of the Ilah. Kimoi Oishius HaSeichel Aklulim B'Seichel Al Derech Moshel. Say the letters of the Seichel, what you're thinking about, are included in the Seichel. So the letters aren't something else than the Seichel. They're part of the Seichel. But it's Punkt Faker. So Ilah Mislabeshes Behelem B'Toicha Olu. That the Ilah dresses up in a hidden way inside of the effect. It's not that the Olu is included in the Ilah, but Fakir, the Ilah is hidden in the Olu. Kimoi Koyach HaMaskil B'Seichel. Just like, for example, the power to understand, which is dresses up in the intellect, or when you have the intellect dressing up in the emotional. So then, either the intellect or the emotion, they are the ones that the entity, they are felt. We feel here emotion, we feel here intellect. and the power of understanding, or the power of the seichel, the intellect, which dresses up in midas, that flows in them in the way of ayin. Either the result, the olul, is sort of included in the makif, in the higher level, or we see the olul, we see the effect, and in it is hidden the power of the higher level. The question is there an entity here or not? Is there a metzias? Again, in Atzilus, there's no metzias. They're included in the Ein Sof, so there's not separate. Over there, it's like the Seichel Talmud, which is surrounded by the Seichel of the Rab. So the higher level of the Ein Sof includes the lower level in it, and it's not in a level of an entity. But when we talk about Biyah, over there we're talking already about something that you see, it's an independent entity. Within that entity, there is the power that energizes it, which is the Koyach HaMaskeh, the Koyach HaSeh. This is similar to the idea that explained elsewhere. The difference between the fish or the creatures of the sea that are always swallowed in their source, the sea where they live, they're always there. And they're not separate from their source, from the water. Why? Should be part of the Hayam Hemesim. That when they separate from the water, from the ocean, they die. So that means that they are included and attached to their source, to the water. And on the other hand, the Bembriya Shaba'aretz. Then you have the creatures of the land. They're not connected to the earth. They are something separate. They're not included in the earth. They're different in the earth. Look in that Mamer. That's the word. That's the name of the Mamer. Mamer Hanal Beifenachal. That's the Dibra Maskil. V'ayim Bigeres HaKodesh Simi Yudale B'Pirus Eretz Asher Chulu Marish Shona. So V'osi Shapir Lefi Hanal. So based on the above, it comes out well. She'ikir Binyan Hanukva Sheberesh Shona. When we're trying to build the Nukva, we're trying to build Malchus. What is the main building of the Malchus? So we're building the Eretz over here. Basically, the level of Yam, the level of Yichudei Law, that's there all the time. It's not separate. But we're building here Eretz Yichudei Tato. So that it would be from nothing in existence in Biyah. That's the level of Yichudei Law. So when we're building the Eretz, we're building the Malchus, which is building Eretz, we're building basically for Yesh Me'ayin, for Biyah. As opposed to the level of Yam, the level of Atzilus itself, that's the level of Yichudei Law. Zo Inyan, this is what we say, Kileikim, Magine Eretz Ma'id Naila. So we're talking about the level of Eretz, Magine Eretz, specifically Eretz versus Yam. Ba'ayin Shav Simen Chof, that he calls it, Hayesha Nifrod Loi Minei V'Loi Miktsosei Maha'erech Shemaha'olul El Ha'ila. Those are words over there in Geras HaKodesh, in Simen Chof, that when you talk about a separate entity, it's much further. It's not even anything, and even not partially, of the value of the Olul or the Ilah. Olul and the Ilah are closer than this level of Yesh Me'ayin, than the Biyah from a level of Atzilus. V'zeu la'Hashem ha'oretz u'maloya. Hashem is Oretz u'maloya. We say the Eretz. Kihu al Yamim Yisoda. He founded it on Yamin. What does it mean? You have Eretz and Yamin. So minimally, let there be Bit Layesh. So it's Taka Oretz, Taka Nifred, but it should be like Yamim, basically, to be the Bit Layesh. All right. So let's go back. This is the parenthesis here. Go back to the Pnim of the Mamer. He explains that you have the two levels. Either the lower level is included in the higher level. It's not come begilui, and it's totally bottled. That's Yichudei Law, Bittul V'Metzias. Or the level comes out in the open, and hidden in it is the Koyach HaMashbiach. Hine, Abchinas Shoyna Omer Hazal. Sages tell us, dear, the Gemara does the whole Ma'aseh. He said, Allah Album say of Adam Elyon. I'm gonna go up on the high of a cloud, and I'm gonna be equal to Hashem. That's what Nebuchadnezzar HaRasha said. So the Gemara says that Yotza Baskel v'Amruloi. So there was a Baskel that went out. It's not in the Mamer. That's what the Gemara there. The Baskel came out and said, Rosha ben Rosha. But this was not say this is so that what that basically is telling him how long is a person's life? 70 years and 80 years. And David started telling him how much distance is there from the earth to the heavens. It's 500. And then each sky is 500 years. And between each sky and sky, so that's just showing how big the world is. And then the Gemara goes on further to say that you have, with the angels, when you come up, starting to get to the higher levels, so we say like this: Karsulei hachayis, the shoulders of the chayis, that's the malachim, is keneged kulam. So that's encompasses everything. Next, go down the level shoykeh chayis, that's the thigh of the chayis, keneged kulam. So it goes from the bottom up. And then you have karne achayis. So karsul achayis, I'm not sure, but the different parts of the animal. That's over there. I'm going to use a French word, but bottom line, karne achayis. So basically, you keep on going. We talked about the 500 years and the world. Just the karsuli from the chayis equals all of the years that we talked about. And then on top of that, you have the shoykeh chayis, which includes so on and so forth. So we say shekol hagavoya goya mechaveirei, that each one that is in a higher level than the other one, makis is chaveirei, surrounds the chaver ad shetachtem botla elov v'nechshav kalei mamish legabelya, so that the lower one becomes subjugated and is considered like nothing relative to the higher level. The Lachain Amru, that's what they say, Shekarsule v'shoykeh hachayis, that the karsulim and the eyes of the chayis she'en b'chinas netzach yisoid, those level of netzach is shua b'china hayoser achrona shebechayis. That is the last level, the very last level in the level of chayis. They include all the levels that are below them. And then you have a karne achayas, and bechinas keser shemrosh, who kloil yoser includes more. Zui bechinas yichudei law of essence firis datzilus. That's the level of yichudei law, which it feel included. It's not an entity. The 10 firis datzilus. The iu b'chayoy yichad. Over there, he Hashem, the Ilah, together with the Chayis, that's the Olul, are one. That is the unity and the subjugation of the lower one and the upper one. Shagam sheyes es spheres, even though there is 10 spheres. Chochma Chesed, and also Chochma Chesed is Anaf HaChochma. Chesed is the branch of Chochma, because when you put it out in a way of Chochma bin Adas in 3, right, left, and middle, into lines, then Chesed goes under Chochma. Chesed is a branch, an onof of a Chochma, shenimshech mebchinas haChochma liyis netzel. So we have the level of Chochma. So we have Chochma, we have Chesed. So he says, Netzel Gam B'chinas HaChesed. So we do have some entities over there, but Ein B'chinas Zu Murgeshes Liyis Yosh V'dover B'fnei Asma. That level is not felt to be an entity and an item independently by itself. Rak so even though Chochma came out, but it is all included and surrounded by the Chochma. And the Chochma surrounds the Chesed from all sides and all corners. So it says Avraham is Ever Ma. Let's put together Ever. Haim is Avraham, there is Ever Ma. So Bechinas Chesed. Avraham is level of Chesed. Nikra Ever, that is called, the Chesed is called an Ever, V'klili Slapshit Bechinas Chochma Koyachma. So Ever, that becomes, Avraham was the yin of Chesed. That's the Ever Ma, because it gets the Koyach HaChochma. And it's subjugated to the Chochma as a result, is subjugated to its cause. But when we talk about the level of Yechut Torah, that is Malchus of Atzilus in Bri Tzirasiyah, who Gilui Oir Haliki Lahavis Abriya Ma'ayin Liyesh. That is to create something from nothing into an existence, to mamish into an entity. Shabriya Yesh Gomur B'Bchinas Mugbal, the creation is a totally complete entity in a limited way. It has no comparison at all to the level of the creator, who is not limited. So there's no relationship between that. If it would have been in a way of Ilav Olu from the Boida, so then the result would be unlimited, would not be like a Ches and like a Gavul. In Bia, not Ches, but all of Bia would not be. Okay, so that means they're an entity. Notwithstanding the fact that it's a full creation from nothing into existence, it's still subjugated to the Ayin. The armies of the heavens, they bow to him, they're both. Who Iker Bechinas Malchus. That's the main idea of Malchus. Liyos yesh, v'sheyiyah yesh b'chul. So that's the level of Malchus that there should be, creates a yesh, and it should be b'chul. Kitzur, inyan ha'hefresh ben yichud ilo yichud ato, kimoi ben ila v'olu. It's between like a cause and effect. Sha'olu mukav me'ilosei. The result is surrounded by its cause, the effect. Ubot letzlain is subjugated. Uben yesh me'ayin, which is a whole new entity. Ayin begeres hakodesh simelcha.